I'm trying out a new look on my character in this video, so don't judge me, we're seeing how it goes. In the past on this channel, I've made several deep dives into features and things that Nintendo has removed from Animal Crossing New Horizons since the game launched. Now, before November 2021, the game used to get updated frequently, and with these patches, some things were taken away from the game for various different reasons. So I've decided to take a look at some of the things that have been removed from New Horizons since the game has launched, including a very recent addition despite the fact there was no patch. Now, I'm sure when most of you think of removed things from New Horizons, the first thing that might come to mind is the Hybrid Flower Island, which was moved fairly early on into the lifespan of New Horizons, I guess so that people wouldn't farm rare hybrid flowers. Leave a like on the video if you wish we could get these Hybrid Flower Islands back. However, I was always disappointed in this given the fact the island was incredibly rare, so the flowers weren't exactly easy to farm. But there is another island that was actually removed from the Nook Mile Island tours that doesn't get talked about nearly as much, and technically this one was even cooler because it served a dual purpose. This was the Hybrid Flower and Big Fish Mystery Island. So it was a combination of the Hybrid Flower Island, plus you could find rare big fish there. Now, there actually still exists the Big Fish Island, which you can find to this very day. However, this combination is no longer available in the game due to the fact that, yeah, you could find hybrid flowers here, and Nintendo did not want that feature to be a part of the Mystery Islands whatsoever. If you were lucky enough to have stumbled upon this island, then it was definitely a big treat, as you could get some really cool fish on this island, just like you can on the Big Fish Island, and of course those amazing hybrid flowers, which just made things a lot easier if you wanted to decorate your island with them. Like I said though, this island was incredibly rare, and you could only visit it a maximum of once per day as well, a fact that not a lot of people realize. There was only a 3% chance of you finding this, and you had to have the upgraded resident services and a ladder as well. So without those things, you wouldn't have even been able to find it anyways, so it was pretty unlikely that you were going to see this one unless you did a lot of grinding, in which, my opinion, Nintendo should have just allowed us to visit it anyways because we put the work in. Definitely sad to see this one and the other Hybrid Flower Island gone. Now, I mentioned that something was removed recently from the game without a patch even being needed to take it away, and this is kind of an interesting case, so bear with me whilst I try and explain. Now, originally, there was this collaboration with Animal Crossing Pocket Camp in the game, where you could connect the two games in order to receive some really cool Pocket Camp themed items in New Horizons, all directly based off of that game. Now, before I worry anyone, these items are still available in the game, they haven't been removed, so if you went online and played with another who already had these, you could trade them, which is definitely good. But as you might know, Animal Crossing Pocket Camp closed down, which means that the connection between the two games is no longer possible. So for future players, this feature where you can connect the two games together and unlock these items to permanently add to your Nook shopping list is gone. It has been removed. A little foolishly, I was actually hoping that Nintendo would release an update patch just to make these items available for everyone without the connection being needed. But now that the original Pocket Camp game is closed down, they decided not to do that, meaning that future players or anyone who restarts their island, I believe, will no longer be able to get these items in their Nook shopping and order them as many times as they want. Like I said, you can still trade them online, but it isn't the same thing honestly, and for players who are playing without Switch Online, they're basically never going to be able to get these. Thankfully, if you did do this connection before it was removed from the game, then you still have the luxury of being able to get these anytime you want, like you can see me doing on screen. But this was definitely very disappointing to see removed from the game. And I wish a simple patch could have just made it so we could get these whenever, since Pocket Camp closed down. Now this one is technically a glitch, so I can understand why Nintendo removed it, but it could have very easily been turned into a cool feature. This was the waterfall hop glitch, which effectively allowed you to create a secret area on your island by glitching through a waterfall. You could kind of hop behind it and have a special area which you could decorate however you wanted, of course within the confines of this space. I really like stuff like this, and I think this would have made it a great designing and decorating feature that they permanently could have added in. Unlike a lot of the other glitches in New Horizons, this one didn't feel too weird or unnatural. It kind of felt like you were just secretly going behind the waterfall, so it almost felt like it was an intended feature. I know that this one technically doesn't count as something they've removed in the sense of it being a feature, but it is still something that is gone from the game that players miss a lot, and it's never going to return at this point, so it is one for the books and one that I definitely miss a lot. Speaking of obscure decorating things, you used to be able to put fences on the dock where Cap'n now is. This was prior to the 2.0 update before Cap'n ever appeared on our islands, and for some reason, when he did, they removed the ability to put fences on here. Now, I'm guessing that the reason why they decided to do this is because somehow it interfered with Cap'n. But what I can't really understand is the fact you can still fully decorate your dock. You can put tons of items on there, and it can be as full as you want really, so I don't see why they needed to remove the fences specifically. All I can really think is that maybe fences glitched things in a certain way that they weren't able to come up with a solution for. So I can understand, it's not the most devastating thing in the game not to be able to put fences on the dock, but still, New Horizons is a game that is basically all about decorating, so it is a little bit of a shame when certain options that allow us to decorate even more are removed. I did see some really cool designs in the past where people have put fences on there, and it kind of looked like a really neat little pier with a railing going through and such, so it is a bit of a shame, but maybe not the saddest item on this list honestly. Another one in terms of decorating that was a fairly obscure glitch that got removed, but definitely should have been added as an actual feature to use within the game, was the ability to put flowers, trees, and bushes on pathways like you can see here on screen. Now, I believe there are some instances where you can still do this. I'm pretty sure they can still go on the dirt pathways. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I think that's correct. However, you can no longer put them on the stone brick pathways like this, as it was sadly considered a glitch. Now, I think this looks really cool, and it honestly even looks pretty natural for the regular tree, where you can kind of see a little bit of green underneath. And for things like the bushes, we see them surrounded by pathways all the time in real life, so I don't get why that couldn't have been a thing. But I can understand why this one was removed versus, say, the mystery islands and such, because yeah, again, it was a glitch. Still, it definitely could have been turned into an intended feature within my opinion, and it would have given us even more options for decorating. It's kind of interesting since they do allow us to do this in other ways. For example, you can put sand down anywhere on your island, and this will allow you to plant palm trees wherever you want, which is a fantastic little decorating hack that a lot of people don't seem to know about. So I don't see why this couldn't have been the case as well. I know some people in the past have said, well, it doesn't feel too natural to plant trees on the bricks and stuff like that, but we kind of see this in real life in cities all the time, so I think it would have been a good idea personally, and perhaps there are other ways they could have done it to make it feel a little bit more natural. There are lots of other interesting things which were removed from the game. For example, we have the star fragment trees, which I'm sure a lot of you know by now. Of course, the other hybrid flower island, things like Nature Day. I've discussed these in previous videos, which I will show up on the screen if you do want to go watch that one too. It's just interesting to me how many things have actually been removed from the game since it launched. We're very likely never going to see another patch for New Horizons ever again though, so it does mean that for anything in the game that is still a glitch or an exploit, or a feature that maybe can be exploited in certain ways, they won't be removed from this point onwards, so make the most of them. Still, it is important to remember that while certain things did get removed from the game with updates and such, a lot of amazing things did get added too. I think the 2.0 update was such a fantastic one that introduced so many great quality of life updates, so I will take some of the stuff being removed for some of the really great stuff we got. Still, let me know in the comments section down below which things you're sad got removed from New Horizons. If you made it to the end of the video, be sure to comment Bob's Gang so I know you did. If you enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe and turn on notifications for more.